A single tear traced down a cheek as a shaky camera zoomed in on the final page of a letter. The words were barely legible, yet they burned with sincerity. When this is all over, know that I have loved you more than any banner, any audience. You were always my home. Silence swallowed the room. Then, the screen echoed with a trembling whisper from Candace Owens. He wanted her to have the last word, the only final word. Suddenly, everything we thought we knew about Charlie Kirk, the rallies, the controversies, the headlines, didn't matter anymore.
All that mattered was this note. A farewell. A promise. A confession of love made in a moment no one saw coming.
As the camera pans across the empty stage where Kirk once spoke, you can almost feel the weight of those words hanging in the air.
Lovers. Rivals. Supporters. Critics. None of them were prepared for this.
And just like that, the public figure became a husband. A man writing his final dedication to the woman who stood beside him.
What was that letter? What did it really say?
And why now, after all the chaos, is it surfacing? Stay with me, because what you're about to read will change everything you thought you knew about him, about her, about love, betrayal, and the truth that lies underneath. Years before the lights, the debates, the outrage, there was a quiet bond between Charlie and Erika. A bond built behind closed doors, away from the cameras and the rallies. By day, Charlie Kirk was the firebrand, the voice of a youthful conservative insurgency. By night, he was just Charlie, the husband, the friend, the man who measured success in laughter shared over late-night pizza and whispered prayers after long days. Erika Kirk was the calm to his storm. Poised. Faithful. She believed, more than anything, in the home they were building, a home anchored in love, conviction, and shared dreams for their children.
Their two little ones.
The long nights spent laughing when the world was off-kilter. The arguments they won't put on social media. The quiet moments of fear, hope, and fragile trust.
Their lives were far from perfect.
In the swirl of donor dinners, ideological battles, and public pressure, cracks began to show. Charlie's schedule grew heavier.
His calls came later. His texts went unanswered.
Decisions pumped through email threads and hushed meetings replaced late-night conversations over coffee. One former insider noted, Charlie began to change, not just in tone, but in posture. He looked over his shoulder more. Erika, for her part, tried to stay above the friction. She masked the anxiety with a steady smile. She reminded herself, and their kids, of the values they believed in. After all, the movement was bigger than them.
Or so they told each other.
But private hurts don't always stay private. A few months before the final night, there was a flash of fear, a confession from Charlie to a friend. I feel the pressure building.
I don't like who I'm becoming. Erika saw it too.
And now, so do we. Part 3, Main Conflict and First Shocking Revelation. When news of Charlie's assassination broke, America mourned. The event, the speeches, the debates, all silenced in a single instant.
Grief poured out. Candles. Tears. Tributes.
But among the sorrow, questions began to surface. That's when Candace Owens stepped forward, not with accusations, but with a letter. A heartfelt note Charlie had once written to Erika, expressing love, regret, and a haunting premonition of danger. In her live stream, Candace held the paper up to the camera. Her voice cracked as she read aloud. If they silence my name, I want you to remember who gave you wings. Everything I built, it was for you.
The comments turned into a roar.
Fans flooded social media, tagging every conservative pundit, every media outlet they could think of. This is real, one wrote. This changes everything.
But it did more than that. It shifted the narrative.
Suddenly, Charlie wasn't just a martyr to some political cause.
He was a man who loved deeply, who cared for his family over his legacy,
who, maybe, feared what was coming long before anyone else did. The timing was too precise, the pain too palpable, and the silence that followed his death felt rotten with regret. Candace didn't claim she had all the answers. But with that letter, she changed the game. She turned rage into heartbreak, and spectators into believers that Charlie's story was far from over. Part 4, Escalation and Second Major Twist. As the letter's words echoed across the internet, something strange began to happen.
The discourse split.
Some rallied behind Erika and Candace, calling the note proof that Charlie had lived a life of love until the end. Others recoiled, demanding evidence, authenticity, context. Then came a new leak, a voice note. Supposedly Charlie's final voicemail to a trusted friend, recorded just days before the event.
His voice shaky, his words heavy with regret.
If anything happens, protect her. Protect the kids.
Listeners froze. Chills ran across forums.
Tears streamed down faces of admirers who remembered him as a firebrand. Now, they heard vulnerability.
Fear. Love. But the twist didn't end there.
A previously unseen photo surfaced, taken at a charity dinner the night before the tour stop. In it, Charlie stood alone under dim lighting, holding a folded piece of paper close to his chest.
The same letter now in Candace's hands. Speculation erupted. Was he planning to disappear the note?
Or had he meant to leave it somewhere safe, as a backup if death came calling?
The controversy spread. Calls logged. Social media threads.
Late-night podcasts analyzing every frame, every glance, every whisper.
Some said it was proof of premeditation. Others said it was love and regret.
And through it all, Erika remained silent.
She posted nothing. No statements. No video.
Just a black and white still, a vase of flowers, the caption, "He was my heart." Silence, it turned out, was the loudest statement of all. Part 5, Public and Emotional Fallout across living rooms, kitchens, and social media scrolls. The story took on a life of its own. Fans organized vigils, not just mourning a death, but honoring a man's last love letter. Hashtags like #was his love real and #read the letter flooded feeds. Streams of voiceovers played his last message, sometimes softly, sometimes blasting, as evidence of a man who lived in fear but loved without hesitation. On network news shows, pundits argued. Some defended Erika's right to privacy, calling the leak a violation. Others demanded transparency, to know who released the letter and why. On political panels, people debated motives. Was this about truth or spectacle?
Grief or manipulation?
But through all the noise, a quiet sorrow took root. Among Charlie supporters, there was grief, raw, unfiltered, human. People recalled his laughs, his late-night calls, the way he'd cradle his children before bed. Whatever one thought of his politics, his kids remembered their dad. And now, thanks to that letter, even strangers felt like they knew him a little better.
Erika's grief became a shared grief. A communal heartbreak.
The silent house where once a family lived became a shrine, filled not just with candles, but questions. Wounds, unhealed. Memories, undisturbed. And over it all hung a sense of betrayal, not by ideology, but by time. A life cut too short. A love laid bare. A legacy fractured by tragedy and revelation. Part 6, final twist and cliffhanger. Just when it felt like the world had absorbed the blow, a new message appeared. A cryptic text forwarded anonymously to Candace. There's more where that came from. Recordings.
Conversations.
Names.
No sender. No source. Just that line. And it dropped like a bomb.
Within hours, hashtags like #release their evidence and #tell us everything trended. Podcast hosts began claiming they had insiders willing to testify.
Influencers shared vague screenshots.
Anonymous voices whispered names, people who had been close to Charlie.
Allies. Enemies.
People once hidden behind emails and press releases.
But no one spoke on record. Not yet.
Candace ended her next live stream with a warning: if you think the letter was the last reveal, you're wrong. What's coming will make you question everything.
The screen went black. The music faded.
The words stayed with us. This is just the beginning.
Who will speak next? Who holds the next secret?
What else was left unsent, unread, forgotten? One thing is certain. When the truth comes out, when the full story drops, we'll all be watching.
Because this isn't just a letter.
It's a ledger. And the balance is due. The crowd livestream crackled. The lights fell. Charlie Kirk stood on stage at Turning Point USA's rally at Utah Valley University, microphone in hand, thousands watching, energy electric.
Suddenly, the gunshot. A muffled roar. Charlie's body trembled.
It wasn't the chaos of conflict. It was deadly silence.
Within seconds, everything changed. The man who declared he would reshape politics dropped to the ground. Blood stained the stage. Panic erupted. Screams.
Students diving for cover.
The world watched, stunned.
Wikipedia +2 Gizmodo +2. In the aftermath, the official account was swift. The suspected shooter was identified, Tyler James Robinson, 22, arrested. Charges, aggravated murder, among others. Justice,
it seemed, could begin. Wikipedia +2 Newsweek +2. But even as condolences poured in, voices of doubt rose louder. Candace Owens, once a close associate of Charlie and a rising conservative voice, refused to let the story rest. On her live streams and social accounts, she began asking questions no one else dared. Was this really a lone gunman? Or something much darker? Something inside? Something planned? Unilad +2 Hindustan Times +2. Candace painted a completely different picture. A labyrinth of threats, warnings, shifting alliances, and betrayal. She said Charlie reached out to her days before the rally. He was scared, worried. He told a few friends privately, "They want me dead." But he wouldn't say who. Not yet. Factually +2 Need to Know News +2. Then came her first real strike. She revealed alleged internal messages and documents, claiming they showed that members of TFUSA leadership had expressed concern over Charlie's changing views, especially regarding certain donors and controversial geopolitical pressures. She suggested that the official narrative might be a cover-up written before the real story could get out. Latin Times +2 Hindustan Times +2. Candace released recordings she said came from a trusted associate. In one chilling clip, timestamped just days before the shooting, Charlie can be heard saying, "It's getting too close. I don't know who's safe anymore." The voice shakes. Fear lingers. It wasn't defiance anymore. It was dread. He knew something was coming. The tab +1. Social media absolutely exploded. Clips of the shooting went viral again, slow-motion freeze frames, replays of the moment before, the moment of impact, the aftermath. People paused, rewound, zoomed in. Some said Charlie's posture just before the shot looked distracted, as if expecting danger. Others claimed surrounding figures seemed oddly calm, too prepared. "That's not chaos," one viral thread read. "That's control." Fans, followers, pundits, everyone began questioning the speed and consistency of the narrative. How could a security team miss rooftop shooters with sniper rifles at a public campus event? Why was the rifle alleged to be a bolt-action .3006, a gun with range and penetration? Questions stacked up. Wikipedia +2 Here Asheville +2. Meanwhile, Candace didn't stop. She dropped a second bombshell. CCTV from nearby hotels and campus buildings, footage that never made it to public release. She claimed hotels had reported strange, unregistered foreign guests checking in around the time of the show, and urged former employees, security staff, even housekeeping to come forward with anything. Strange behavior, hidden luggage, unknown faces. She hinted, strongly, at international interference. The Times of India +2 Latin Times +2. For many, this was too much. It felt like a betrayal, not just of Charlie's memory, but of trust. For others, it offered hope. Hope that one of the biggest, most shocking deaths in modern conservative circles wasn't a tragedy. It was an injustice. In came the first twist no one saw coming. Insiders from TFUSA reportedly locked themselves in emergency sessions after leaks. Sponsors began reconsidering funding. Supporters looked around dubiously. And in the chaos, the woman Charlie had chosen to lead, Erika Kirk, his widow, became the central figure. She had been named CEO of TFUSA less than 2 weeks after his death. Wikipedia +2 Unilad +2. Candace's supporters sounded the alarm. Was this succession plan prepared before Charlie was killed? Was his death the bizarre final step in a power play? Papers began circulating. Internal memos, alleged financial transfers, suspicious donation changes. According to some whistleblowers, large sums had shifted in the months before the assassination. The Times of India +2 Hindustan Times +2. But the biggest shock came when Owens claimed to hold a dark secret, that Charlie's final public rally, the one where he was shot, had been infiltrated. That the sniper may have been planted. That the lone gunman narrative might be a smokescreen. She said she was ready to release a list of names. Names of insiders. Names of donors. Names of people once trusted. With video, documents, and proofs. Unilad +2 Unilad +2. And then, silence. Her channel went dark. No videos. No posts. No updates. Some said she was threatened. Others claimed she pulled back for safety. But the weight of what she had dropped lingered. Across the internet, across dinner tables, across forums, people debated, grieved, speculated. For many of Charlie's supporters, those who revered his speeches, his activism, his charisma, the possibility that the betrayal came from inside his own ranks was unthinkable.
But Candace had positioned herself as the unlikely whistleblower, the disgraced ally turned avenger, unwilling to let a legend die quietly. As autumn turned to winter, the pressure mounted. More guests came forward claiming suspicious pre-event hotel stays. Anonymous CCTV clips leaked. Funders began requesting audits of TPUSA's books. The organization itself froze new donations, citing internal review. And through it all, the question echoed louder than any chant. Was Charlie Kirk's death a tragic accident, or the result of a carefully engineered betrayal? The first twist had shattered trust. The second had cracked reality. Now, with the stage set for deeper conflict, the world waited. What would the next drop be? What would prove, or disprove, the conspiracy? And who would speak when silence was no longer an option? Because something had changed. The story was no longer about grief. It was about truth. And maybe, justice. The floodgates opened. After the initial shock, the world watching Charlie's death turned from mourning to suspicion, and soon, to chaos. Candace Owens didn't just whisper doubts anymore, she unleashed them. On November 1718, 2025, she claimed she had new evidence that could change everything. Unilad +2 Unite News +2. First, she dropped the allegation that inside TPUSA, plans were already underway, months before the fatal day, to shift power to a new leader. That leader, Michael McCoy, TPUSA's chief of staff. Candace said the group was grooming him as the new Charlie Kirk. The Times of India +1. Next came the resurfacing of private texts and whistleblower testimonies, messages Charles allegedly sent mere days before he died, saying he felt watched. And even they will try to take everything when I'm gone. Elamag +2 Hindustan Times +2 According to these sources, when those messages were leaked, not only did TPUSA remain silent, they moved fast to reframe the narrative. Sympathies, tributes, and the swift succession plan with Michael. Then, there were the strange coincidences. Hotel records, flight manifests, travel logs, all drawn into the spotlight. Candace urged viewers and former hotel staff to check their surveillance footage. She claimed that a group with foreign ties stayed near the campus not long before the shooting, possibly linking them to the crime. Unite News +1. Social media erupted. Threads on Reddit, X, TikTok exploded with theories. If Charlie himself warned people he felt danger, why was no protection provided? Why was TPUSA's leadership so calm? Was Michael McCoy really just a loyal lieutenant, or something darker? The backlash was immediate. Some former donors reportedly asked for refunds, fundraising slowed, and suspicions piled. Not only about the assassination but about the group's overall transparency. Factually +2. Then came Candace's second bombshell, CCTV and hotel booking leaks. She claimed she had names of people who had checked in under aliases around the time of the shooting. One of those names seemingly matched an alias used by someone linked to a foreign-registered shell company. She didn't name names, not yet, but the implication hit like thunder. What if this wasn't just a domestic crime, but part of something bigger? The Times of India +2 Latin Times +2. TPUSA scrambled. Instead of transparency, there was silence. Cancelled interviews. Lockdowns on social accounts. A defensive PR blitz praising Kirk's legacy, calling Candace's claims baseless rumors. Factually +1. Trust around the organization cracked. Some longtime supporters quietly unfollowed. Some donors pulled back. Several campus chapters froze activity. Observers said this level of internal turmoil, after decades of strength, was unprecedented for TPUSA. Factually +2. But just as people started to accept skepticism as the new norm, Candace hit again. This time with a leak of an audio clip. It was allegedly recorded a day before the shooting. A trembling voice, fear-laced. Someone, perhaps Charlie, saying, "If they come for me, remember the names." She didn't identify who they were. She didn't reveal who else might have heard. But that voice, raw, haunted, forced the public to confront the possibility that Kirk had foreknowledge of his fate. Unilad +2 The Times of India +2. The clip broke hearts, ignited outrage, and reignited fury. Suddenly the narrative wasn't just about loss, it was about betrayal, cover UPS, and power plays. TPUSA's own base fractured. The tagline "Truth Wins" felt hollow. And then the major twist, one nobody saw coming. In a live stream, Candace revealed she had compiled a network, former TPUSA staffers, ex-donors, hotel employees, campus security, people who had grown disillusioned and scared. She said they were ready to testify, about secret payments, about shutdown orders after the shooting, about erased surveillance footage, and about hush-money offers to silence potential whistleblowers. She promised to release names soon. The Times of India +2 Latin Times +2. As the deadline she set approached, panic rippled behind closed doors. Michael McCoy, once the rising star, vanished from public view. Emails and internal chats reportedly were wiped. Sextile audits were demanded by concerned donors. Former allies exchanged messages like, "We need to cut losses." But the biggest shock came when one of the supposed whistleblowers, a mid-level staffer at TPUSA, disappeared. She was scheduled to go on record with her account. Her lawyer later said she feared for her safety. Her supporters speculated she was scared not only for herself, but for her family. In the aftermath, threads splintered into factions. Some believing the assassination was part of a broader power play, others demanding silence, worried that releasing everything could destroy not just lives, but people's faith. Through it all, one thing became certain. Nothing about Charlie Kirk's death, or Turning Point USA's rise or fall, would ever look the same again. What began as mourning had morphed into an unraveling. A slow, painful decaying of trust, piece by piece. And as the world watched, waiting for the next bombshell, the real question hung in the air: who will speak next, and who will pay for the truth they reveal? The morning after the new leaks dropped, the world woke up in shock. Mourning candles were still flickering on memorial pages, yet the grief had splintered into suspicion. On one side, fans and supporters of Charlie flooded social media with sorrowful tributes, photos of his smiling face at rallies, clips of his speeches, hearts and dove emojis, messages like he didn't deserve this. Thousands signed up to donate to funds for his family. But for a growing number of people, that sense of universal mourning was dead, replaced by heavy, uneasy questions. Online, threads erupted. If what Candace says is real, this is betrayal. How could so many people stay silent? I believed in TPUSA. I believed in Charlie. But now, how do I trust? Fear and disbelief flared across political chat rooms and comment sections. Some celebrities and public figures voiced concern, not only for Charlie's fate, but for a larger sickness in the system. When assassination, power, and politics combine, truth becomes a casualty. Within conservative circles that once stood united under Charlie's banner, fractures formed almost overnight. Donors who had backed the organization for years publicly questioned their own support. A handful began withdrawing contributions, others demanded audits. Rumors circulated that certain chapters of Turning Point USA were suspending operations, waiting for transparency, for proof, for answers. The scandal stretched beyond personal grief. It became institutional crisis. Lawyer Monthly +2 Factually +2. Meanwhile, a wave of distrust swept across media consumers. Commentators, pundits, podcasters, all scrambled to position themselves. Some accused Candace of hyperbole, of turning tragedy into conspiracy. Others defended her, arguing that silence and unverified exonerations were part of the cover-up. Scores of conservative influencers publicly denounced the claims, calling them irresponsible and harmful to Karen Kirk's legacy. Factually +1. And then there were the activists and politicians, voices who insisted on public safety, transparency, and accountability. Leaders across the political spectrum condemned both the killing and the disturbing reactions that followed. At least one University Debate Society president who earlier cheered the assassination publicly apologized after backlash. New York Post +1 global reactions followed. 2. A few world leaders publicly criticized the celebratory social media posts about Charlie's death, calling them a symptom of growing political polarization and hate. AP News +1. But perhaps the hardest hit were Charlie's loved ones. His widow, at first wrapped in sorrow, now faced whispers and accusations. The grief was no longer private, it was public, dissected, debated. For many supporters, she became a symbol, a grieving widow, yes, but also the woman now thrust into power, into suspicion, into the center of a storm she may or may not have asked for. The outpouring of support was real: messages, condolence posts, fundraisers. But underneath, a trembling uncertainty lingered. Do we really know what happened? Across households, communities, entire political networks, the fallout had one main effect: trust crumbled. The very things people believed in, institutions, friendships, movements, cracked under the weight of doubt. Late-night meetings, hushed conversations among donors, and private phone calls, many reportedly went on behind closed doors. Some friends severed ties with former allies, some former supporters turned away. The kind of unity that had once defined Charlie's movement dissolved into fear, anger, and regret. Yet, amid the chaos and heartbreak, a strange solidarity formed. People who had nothing in common but uncertainty began demanding answers: truth, transparency, closure. Crowdfunding pages that had once raised money to honor his legacy pivoted to demand investigations, clarity, release of evidence. Journalists and amateur sleuths dug through hotel manifests, security logs, phone records. Some collected witness testimonies. Rumors of whistleblowers circling, reluctant insiders, anonymized tips. The rumor swirl itself became another form of memorial. For many ordinary people, not activists, not pundits, the scandal struck on a personal level. It felt like betrayal not just of a man, but of ideals, trust in institutions, belief in truth, conviction that justice could be clean. A social media user wrote, "I believed in him. I believed in what he stood for. But if what we know now is true, I don't even know what I believe in anymore." Finally, across platforms, the grief began to line into a mixture of anger, sorrow, and determination. Candlelight vigils turned into protest meetings. Memorial speeches turned into demands for justice. Legacy hashtags morphed into call-outs. What began as heartbreak ended, for many, in insurgency. Because more than anything, the public fallout showed one thing. Once belief is broken, healing becomes dangerous. Once trust is shattered, transparency or deception, both can look like betrayal. And for many watching, the question now isn't what happened, but who do you trust anymore? The night sky hung heavy. The world thought it had seen the worst. A man, Charlie Kirk, gunned down on stage, a shocking death that ripped apart beliefs and cast a long shadow. But what came next wasn't closure. It was an eruption. As midnight struck, social media feeds lit up. A previously unknown account posted a single image, a dusty, crumpled leather journal, its cover scorched, the edges singed. The caption, "The real last words." The image was quickly amplified by Candace. She claimed this journal belonged to Charlie, something never revealed before. Inside, in jagged handwriting, were entries dated the week before the rally, fears, confessions, warnings. The final line, half smudged as if written in haste, read, "They think they own me, but they won't own his name." The twist hit harder than any conspiracy theory. For months, the public had focused on political enemies, foreign flights, shady donors, but this journal pointed inward. Not at distant foes, but at the organization Charlie founded. It pointed at insiders, people who knew meetings, plans, whispers, people close enough to write his eulogy or erase him. Within hours, reports emerged of unusual financial activity spotted just days before the shooting, large transfers from shell accounts flagged in internal audits of FUSA donors. Names connected, high-ranking figures within the organization. Candace called it the final proof. Funds meant to silence, to bribe, to bury secrets. Then, a live stream from a former FUSA regional coordinator, face blurred, voice trembling, revealed another bombshell. She confessed that on the morning of the rally, security protocols had been downgraded by order of headquarters. Metal detectors bypassed. Rooftop coverage cancelled. Cameras intentionally disabled. Someone wanted the stage open, she whispered. They needed easy access. They knew Charlie wouldn't check. The implication froze many hearts. This wasn't random. This was orchestrated. From inside. Public trust shattered overnight. Donor funds frozen. Board members disappeared. Attorneys were hired. Courts threatened. Meanwhile, supporters tried desperately to salvage the legacy, but the bedrock cracked too deep. Amid the chaos, a final audio file appeared. An intercepted voicemail, recorded just 30 minutes before the rally began. Charlie's voice, calm, measured. He said, "If this goes sideways, tell the world what really matters. Not the headlines. Not the politics. The truth." And then a click. Silence. The audio wasn't long. It ended before the chaos. But the meaning was undeniable. He knew. And someone close knew too. As fans replayed the clip, social media algorithms spilled it across millions of screens. Comments exploded. He was betrayed. They killed him for exposing them. We demand investigations. FUSA responded with silence. No denials. No presses. Just black. And the sudden, very public resignation of two senior leaders, names once trusted, now vanished. Their exit statements claimed exhaustion, grief, fear. No one asked hard questions anymore. No one expected answers. Then came a hidden note, leaked in tiny text on a gossip site post. Page 247. Look for the name in red. People rushed. Pages of the journal, anonymous scans, files uploaded to cryptic sites, spreadsheets, lists, vague reference, coded names. Among pseudonyms, one real surname popped up, the last name of a VP within TPUSA. Goosebumps. Hearts pounding. Because if verified, and people were already digging, this name could be the key to unraveling everything. And as the world waited, watching, refreshing, speculating, the final crushing blow arrived. At dawn, a short video clip. Static, shaky. Security camera footage from backstage. A shadowy figure placing a bag under the stage, walking away. The figure's face was obscured, but the timing matched the sniper's bullet. The bag? Still there when paramedics arrived. No one explained it. No one investigated it. That footage alone, unverified, raw, terrifying, was enough to rewrite history. If it was real, it meant the sniper wasn't acting alone. Someone had helped. Someone had prepared. Someone Charlie trusted. And then the screen went black. No credits. No disclaimers. Just silence. The internet exploded. Hashtags like #whoplacedthebag, #InsideJob, #FreeTheTruth burst. Web sleuths analyzed every pixel. Lawyers threatened to sue. Former allies demanded investigations. But in the empty space where answers should have been, there was only more darkness. Because as dawn broke over a divided world, a world that once looked to leaders for truth, one question echoed, louder than any siren. If the betrayal was this deep, if the enemy was inside, then who was left to trust? And whose name would be the next to fall? Just when the dust seemed to settle and emotions began to simmer down, another twist emerged, one that would ignite the internet all over again. Candace Owens, already at the center of this unraveling saga, announced she had obtained a private voice memo from Charlie Kirk, allegedly recorded just 2 days before his tragic death. Her words were cautious, but the tension in her live stream was palpable. "What I'm about to share isn't easy," she told her millions of followers, "but the world deserves to hear Charlie in his own words and decide for themselves." The recording, Candace claimed, had been forwarded to her anonymously via an encrypted link. It was supposedly a personal audio message Charlie recorded for someone close to him, and though she didn't confirm the recipient, it was clearly meant for Erika. His voice was heavy, filled with emotion and, oddly, regret. "I don't know how much longer I can do this," Charlie began, his tone raw. "I love you, but I feel like I'm surrounded by whispers and shadows. I can't trust the people closest to me anymore, not even the ones who should protect me." The internet exploded. Was this a love letter? A warning? Or a goodbye? Thousands paused and replayed the clip, dissecting every syllable, every breath. Had Charlie sensed something was off? Was this his final attempt to reach someone he felt was slipping away from him, or someone he feared was orchestrating his demise? Candace's commentary following the voice memo only added fuel to the inferno. This wasn't a man just overwhelmed by politics, she insisted. This was a man trying to make peace with a betrayal he couldn't say out loud. And now, in death, his voice is the loudest one in the room. Her video racked up 20 million views within 24 hours. Then came the shocker no one anticipated. J.D. Vance's wife, Usher, broke her silence again, this time in a written statement posted on her personal blog, titled Betrayal in Plain Sight. In it, she confessed that her marriage had quietly ended weeks prior, citing irreconcilable disillusionment, and alluded to emotional infidelity. When someone chooses silence when you're screaming for honesty, that's not strength. That's cowardice, she wrote, clearly referencing both her estranged husband and, some argued, Erika Kirk. Now the whispers weren't just about Erika and McCoy. They shifted to Erika and J.D. Vance. Was the hug at the memorial more than just a moment of comfort? Was there something deeper, more calculated brewing between the widow and the rising political star? Adding to the mystery, Erika abruptly deleted over 50 posts from her Instagram account the same evening Candace released the audio. Followers noticed the removals instantly, especially the images tagged with Charlie's favorite Bible verses and early TPUSA events. Why the sudden purge? Damage control or digital cleanup? But the final bombshell came from an unlikely source, a former TPUSA intern who came forward under the alias Rachel. She appeared in a blurred-out Zoom interview claiming she overheard McCoy referencing Phase 2 of a plan during a lunch meeting in early August, a month before Charlie's death. He said Erika was handling the optics and that after Utah, it would be a whole new chapter, Rachel alleged. Though unverified, her words reverberated like a gunshot in the night. The implications were staggering. Had Charlie been set up not just for ideological silencing, but for a calculated power transfer, a planned assassination cloaked in the narrative of political extremism? As the internet braced for what came next, all eyes turned to Erika's cryptic new post, a photo of Charlie's grave, with the caption "Justice is complicated." No explanation, no hashtags, just 6 words that ignited another round of debate, disbelief, and dread. Is this the moment the tide turns for Erika Kirk? Or the moment everything falls apart? Stay tuned. If you're still breathing after all of that, congratulations, because this story is far from over. You've just witnessed a scandal unravel that spans politics, betrayal, love, power, and the darkest corners of grief. But here's the truth, we haven't even scratched the surface. Who sent Candace that audio file? Why did Erika suddenly delete dozens of posts the moment it surfaced? And what does "justice is complicated" really mean? Ask yourself, was Charlie Kirk silenced by a lone extremist, or by the people he trusted most? Is Candace Owens revealing the truth, or orchestrating a political takedown? And how much does J.D. Vance really know? Because if his wife's tears are any indication, something unholy is going on behind closed doors. We want to hear from you. Are you team #Justice for Charlie or team #Pray for Erika? Drop your theories, suspicions, and jaw-dropping thoughts in the comments. And don't just scroll by. Smash that like button if you're tired of the lies, and subscribe because this isn't ending anytime soon. The next wave of leaks is already brewing, and when the dam breaks, you're going to want a front row seat. Oh, and one more thing. If the next video gets mysteriously taken down, you'll know we hit a nerve. So share this one while it's still live. The silence isn't just eerie anymore, it's evidence. Let's make sure Charlie's truth is heard, no matter who tries to bury it. Your voice could be the one that breaks this wide open. Don't look away now. Stay watching. Stay questioning. Stay ready.